And we should be live in a second here. What is going on, guys? So I streamed last night. I started building this Tronxy X5, and I didn't get very far in stream. One, because I was talking a lot. That's primarily the reason. I was mostly just talking a lot. And two, the instructions were just terrible. What up, Matchup? What up, Cairo? Yeah, late stream. I actually I'm filling in what happened between last night's stream and now. So last night you were here, Matchup. I got nothing done on stream, dude. And I woke up this morning and I was gonna do what I said, which was just finish building the frame and then start streaming. But I forgot that today was my buddy that I live with, his wife's sister's 30th birthday, and they threw a birthday get together here. Yeah, so everyone showed up at 2, which was when I was supposed to stream. So I got up at 8:39, did the frame, and then I built the whole printer. I was making so much progress. I was like, man, I don't really want to leave this and not finish it. Granted, there's still a lot of stuff I need to do. There's no cable management done yet, and I already know some serious upgrades that I need to do to it. Mostly for the bed, which you can probably see it's just really shaky, which I knew that getting this kit. What's up, B-Dub? But yeah, everything else is done. So I'm probably going to do, I recorded the unboxing when I first unboxed it, so I'm probably going to combine that unboxing video with the build experience video. I'll kind of just do 2 in 1, which will be kind of a long video. Just kind of sharing my experience with this build. So I'm kind of torn in a way because the printer's not really that bad to build, and I haven't built any of these cube style printers. But what makes it bad is the instructions are terrible. It was such a really shitty experience with the instructions, mostly with these extrusions. The build guide, for those of you that didn't see it yesterday, let me see if I can pull it up. I think I have it, yeah. So with the instructions, there is different aluminum extrusions, right? So there's 355, 380, and 500. So the 500 was pretty easy to not get confused because it's, obviously visually different. But the 355 and the 380 are so close that when you're looking at these pictures, it doesn't tell you which one things are going on, so you kind of have to guess. And I looked online, I couldn't find anything. So there was 3 times when I was building this where I thought that I had put stuff on the wrong side. I did the Z motor and Z rod on the thinner side, but after a while it seemed like it was supposed to be on the thicker side. So then I started disassembling everything, and I was really bummed out. And then I started looking at it. I'm like, no, I think I did it right, and I'm still not certain I think I did it right. So that was confusing. Then there was a couple of defective of these little, I don't know if, oh, you guys can't see them. Hold on. There was a couple defective L corner brackets, so let me see if you can see which ones I'm talking about. These guys, 2 of them hadn't been machined through, so there was no hole for the screws to go through. And so when I pushed the screw through, it just ripped right through it. And so if I hadn't had extras, I would have had to order some more. So that was an issue. One of the end stops didn't work. It just didn't register. I checked the wiring and everything looked like it was connected, but when I put in the G code and held it down to see if it showed that it was triggered, it wasn't working. Luckily they supply you with an extra one, so that worked out. I just swapped it out and that was fine. The other one was good. And then the other thing that was weird was with these smooth rods. I'll see if I can show you guys this, because this was actually one of the most shitty parts. It's actually gonna be kind of tough. Oh, I can probably show it just from this angle. So this guy right here, it sticks out on this side. It sticks out on both sides about maybe half an inch to a little bit more than that, which also again made me think that maybe I did something wrong. But I started looking at it more and more and was like, no, I think I did it right. But there's normally these little screws that are supposed to go in here to keep these smooth rods from moving around, and because of the amount they're sticking out, I couldn't use the screws that they supplied, so these smooth rods were sliding back and forth, so I had to kind of rig it, and I used some other M3 screws with washers to hold it in place. I'll end up showing that when I do my like actual video on my YouTube channel, not on the live stream, talking about the build experience. So those things were super confusing, and I can see how, again, I built a lot of printers and I was still like, what the hell? So I can see how somebody starting out would be like, you know, this blows, and they would not have a good experience with a kit. But again, a lot of kits are very frustrating, but this one was exceptionally frustrating. However, those things aside, the actual build is not that bad. Like the whole X carriage comes pre-assembled. All these parts are already screwed together, which is a rarity for a China kit printer. You just literally slide them into place, and a few other things came already pre-assembled, so it wasn't bad once I knew what the hell I was doing, which took some serious time. Again, also, this is not a Prusa style machine, and I think every kit I've ever built except for Delta have been Prusa style, so that was also kind of new and foreign to me. So I still need to go around, tighten up some of these screws a little bit more. But yeah, everything's good, kind of. So let me go ahead and see here. Did you print? I did print with it. Just one little guy. I printed this little calibration cube earlier today. Not very long ago, actually. This is probably an hour and a half ago. No, probably 3 hours ago, and then I took a nap. It's okay. It's not bad. There looks like there is definitely some like Z-wobble, which again, I knew that was going to be a thing, so I'm going to have to work on some braces, but for being an initial calibration cube, doing nothing other than hitting print and making sure the bed was level, it's really not a bad little print. So I'm going to... Are you writing all this down? I hope someone is. No, I'm not writing it all down, but I'll remember it all, man. When I do my well, I don't always. I don't really have a format for my videos, but I usually write down the bullet points on like a Google Doc, and so that way when I'm recording, I can at least have those keywords and remember them and then talk based off of that. So yeah, it's really not a bad cube for a first print. I've had way worse, you know, calibration cube things. So yeah, the major upgrades that I'm going to definitely be doing is some kind of a support system for the bed, so that way it doesn't wobble as much. I've seen some really intense upgrades, which I don't really want to do. I don't know that I want to add like another couple smooth rods and stuff like that. I'm hoping I can do something that's a little less involved that will give me similar results. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with, like, the cooling is nice. It's got that layer cooling fan, which doesn't seem to be too bad. And I'm gonna add LEDs because I gotta add LEDs. I'm going to potentially add a auto bed level. I think I have an extra probe somewhere when I purchased the one for the ANET. And I think I'm gonna get a sheet of build tack for the bed. I don't really like printing directly on aluminum because I feel that it doesn't stick very well. I mean, I use hairspray and I heat the bed, so it does stick, but it doesn't stick as well as it could. So I'll probably end up using build tack, or like a knockoff version of build tack. And then I don't know, cable management, and see what else there is. So if I see some other upgrades that'll be really good, then I'll do it. Can you do case cutouts with this? Can you do a MOSFET? I did not. Okay, let me start. Yeah, I've had way worse. Is the X5 much different than the X5S? Yes, it is super different. Not only size, but the X5S is a Core XY machine, which I've never built one, but the way they function and move is extremely different, and from everything I've seen and read, Core XY machines are definitely better. Did you add a MOSFET? Yeah, I didn't add a MOSFET to this. I don't know that I'm going to. I did. The only machine that I've added that to so far has been the ANET A8. I may add it to this. I'm not sure yet. I'll kind of see once I've used it a little bit more if it's something I want to do. You can't do case cutouts with this because it's not a router or a CNC machine. It's a 3D printer. And yeah, it would be a really good machine to enclose just because it's got that cube design. I could throw some panels on the sides, either foam or acrylic or something. My only thing is I don't use ABS like ever, so I don't know whether I'm going to or not. But that thought has already crossed my mind for sure. It's just printed something in ABS for the first time. Yeah, ABS sucks, dude. And now that, I mean, PTG is so readily available and the cost on it is, you know, very similar. What's going on, Dimple? How you doing, man? But yeah, now that PTG is like the same cost, I don't really see myself printing with ABS very much unless I have a very specific use case for it. I've never printed in polycarbonate. I kind of want to expand my my filaments. Now that I've got another direct drive machine, I think this will be a really good machine to test out things like that. Yeah, flexibles Cairo is something I want to do. I've what's a pain in the ass? Polycarbonate. Yeah, but now that I've got another direct drive system, I want to test out a bunch of flexibles. So I might start picking up like a spool of a different flexible material per month until I've tried most of them. But I'd really like to try like Ninja Flex, Soft PLA. I have TPU, but I want to compare that to TPE. I would like to print nylon. I've never printed with nylon. And then there's that like, I know nylon's not, I don't know if I consider nylon a flexible. It's really, I mean, it is flexible, so. I heard some pretty negative thoughts on this machine. Your thought, or reviews on this machine. Your thoughts on it? I definitely already kind of have my opinion on the machine just from my assembly and stuff like that. Obviously, after doing some printing and tightening and things like that, it will shape a little bit more. But from where I'm at right now, I see it as being a very solid core. Like, for 220 bucks, it's a lot of machine in a sense with all the aluminum you're getting and, you know, everything. But based off the build guide, I would say this thing is going to be brutal for beginners. Just because things don't really add up or look right. But I think that if you're willing to put some love into this machine, and especially I think the biggest thing is the bed, man, the wobbliness to it, how again when it's moving and printing it's just got so much wobble to it. I think that if you can fix that, that's really the main issue with this machine that's going to cause issues with quality and prints. I think if you could fix that, and again I briefly looked at Thingiverse under this machine and saw a bunch of different upgrades, so I got to do research on what's my best option for what I want to do. But I feel like it has a lot of potential, and I don't know for that price of like 200 to 220 bucks that there's very many cube style machines. I do think that if you have an extra 100 to 120, 30 bucks to spend, that you should definitely go with the X5S because of the bigger build volume and just upgrades. But I have also heard that the X5S needs upgrades as well in order to get it running. But most kit printers, from what I've seen and experienced, do need a fair amount of upgrades to be decent printers. The Tebow Tarantula actually surprised me pretty heavily. With the exception of adding a cooling fan, it did a pretty banging job, like right out of the box. It's a pretty solid machine. So yeah, I want to print. I also want to print, and there's a material called like tea glaze or tea glass or something like that. I don't really know much about it, but I've been so limited in my printing to just PLA. Now I'm like, I gotta go and kind of run wild and see just what the other materials have to offer for you know, just so that way I have the knowledge, and also if there's a project where I'm like, I feel like, you know, PLA is not working right, let's try something else. Yeah, that's what it is. T-glaze, Tallman. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. I don't know what the benefit is of using that. I haven't really heard much about it, but I've seen it around. Yep, it's easier than ABS, but it's not as easy as PETG. Okay. Yeah, polycarbonate's one that I literally just discovered a few weeks ago. And yeah, definitely a pain. Definitely a pain to put this thing together. Huh, your link did not work much up. But I'm sure you're referencing your Ninja Flex, so it's probably oh, it's food safe filament. Isn't PETG the same way or no? I thought it was. Let's get something printing real quick. I've been promising my girlfriend that I'd print her out some of these hook things. I printed her out one like years ago and she really liked it and she lost it and she wants a bunch of them. So we'll see how it turns out. The finger hook. I think this is the one that I printed her a long time ago. Yeah, that one's so weird looking. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't like that one. That one makes me uncomfortable. Alright, let's download. Alright. 3D finger hook. See how this prints. Let's do 20% infill's fine. We'll leave the speed like that. Layer height. Oh, 0.1. No. We'll do 0.2. 0.25. I'm okay with that. We'll see how it goes. I'm not even sure if the bed's actually that leveled. I did a really quick, kind of janky test of it, so we'll see. I know the center should at least be leveled, and it's not that big of a print, but the print too is, like, it's offset. I don't know if it's a Repetier setting or if it's in Marlin, but it's printing, like, towards the front left, so I'm gonna have to definitely do some tweaking. Well, that's because I think I know why, actually. It's because I'm not homing it. Yeah, it's not homing all the way at the back. That's why I need to move the end stop a little bit more. Probably from molds, that new trending measuring cup thing. Oh, yeah, I've seen that thing. The one that has, like, it's like a cube that every side has like a different measuring thing. I think, yeah, Joel definitely did a video on that. My head. Oh, Discord. I don't see anything in Discord. My bad, I didn't see your message at all, dude. I've not really been on the computer. I was literally on the ground building. People are strange. I don't know who would make that. Jesus. Some premium shit. Sending messages to the wrong people. Yeah, I don't know who would make it. I think the way I found it was I typed in like mounting hooks or something like that. This was a long time ago because this is when my girlfriend was living with me at my parents' house. So it had to have been at least 2 years ago. And I remember I found it and was like, dude, I'm not going to print you a regular hook. I'm going to print you a finger hook. And it turned out really good. No clue. I like the measuring cube though. Something I'd make for my mom. I think she would appreciate it. It's really handy. Super handy. You have a Discord server? I have a Discord server, but it's kind of interesting. It's like a video game Discord server. And then a few people that I know, that I've known for a really long time. But I think that I'll probably end up making another Discord server for my YouTube channel. That way people can join in, and maybe I'll hang out there from time to time. I'm not really sure. It's something I've thought about doing, and I've had a few people ask me about that, so I should probably do something like that. I just don't know how often I'd be in it. Maybe it'd be like a once a week type thing or something. But yeah, I might end up doing one for 3D printer stuff or just YouTube hangout talk. Yeah, Dimple, I live streamed last night for a couple hours, but I didn't do much with this printer on live stream. I think I got like half of the frame done before calling it quits. It took me like 2 hours to do that because I kept talking and doing things wrong and stuff like that. But yeah, I got it off of GearBest. I think it's like 220, give or take, or 230. It's a definitely like super budgety machine. Let's see what our temperatures are at. Alright, it's gonna start printing any second. I can smell the molten PLA. Probably should have sprayed some hairspray on it. We'll see if it sticks. Ooh. You can actually see the bed. It looks like kind of vibrating. Even in the layers it's laying down, it looks a little bit kind of wobbly. I don't know how well you guys can see. Now, should have done a bigger print. Yeah, the price point is that's the thing, man. With it being that cheap, you can spend, you know, 50-60 bucks on some upgrades for it, and it's not breaking the bank. Yeah, it just looks like when it's laying down the plastic that it's got a bit of a like ripple to it, like, which I can see in this as well, which I'm assuming again is the bed, because I can see the bed vibrating. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. As the machine's jolting back and forth. One thing I really like about this machine, though, initially, and I'm not sure if it's on the ground, if it's because it's on the ground, so it's kind of dampering it. It's really quiet. Like, it is extremely quiet. It might be my quietest machine, which is interesting. Although now the fan's kicking on, it's still pretty damn quiet, man. But if it's not easy to get assembled and set, might be a bit of a put off. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely let people know that. I mean, granted, I always say that if you don't have electronic knowledge and you don't have that like kind of tinkering knack, then to just go with something that's already assembled and spend the extra $100, or do something like the Monoprice Mini. But if you want to assemble it and spend the time, it helps a lot with, like, if you gotta troubleshoot or something like that. Mod Shop with a $5 donation, dude. Thank you very much for supporting the stream and helping me. I'm gonna put your $5 from today and your $5 from yesterday towards a spool of Ninja Flex, dude. That way, when I get my Ninja Flex, I'll put, this is a sponsored video, and I'll put sponsored by Mod Shop, man. Especially at $85 a spool. I think I can get it for a bit cheaper through work, but it's still an expensive spool of plastic regardless. Yes, I can definitely see that rippliness going on. It is really nice with the amount of aluminum extrusions you have, though. Like the power supply mounts nicely, the board mounts nicely. Well, like the TiVo Tarantula is driving me crazy because the cable management sucks and there's nowhere to mount the power supply, so it's just awful. Yeah, I'm gonna put you just wait, dude. When I do a video on some Ninja Flex, I'm gonna say like mostly sponsored by Mod Shop and his kind donations. I just bought a Reprap Guru Prusa i3v2 and a day later I found a CR10 on sale, thinking about returning it now. What the hell's a Reprap Guru? Hey, what's up, JK from the Philippines again? How you doing tonight, man? Happy I don't know if it's Saturday in the Philippines right now, but if it is, happy Saturday. If not, happy Sunday. How much did you pay for the Reprap Guru? If you paid $279 for it, like based off of Amazon, this price I'm seeing right now, and you found the CR10 for similar price or cheap price, then I would definitely say to return it for the CR10. Because CR10 has a huge community, way larger, aluminum extrusions. Let me see how much. Ninja Flex. Well, I think I can probably get Ninja Flex with like my employee discount or whatever for like $40 a spool, which is still expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than $85. CR10 Sunday here, 12:41. Oh, midday. Okay, well, happy Sunday then. CR10 is $4.39 on Amazon and got the Guru for $279. I've seen the CR10 go for above $500. Ah, got you. So you want to go through Amazon then, which I understand because of the return policy and shipping and stuff. It's your call, but based off what I just saw, I've never heard of the Guru. And the CR10 is definitely a solid machine, man. Like, no denying it. I would do the CR10 for sure. Like, if it were me, that's 110% what I would do. But it's your call, it's your machine. But I would, yeah, if it were me, I'd fork out the extra money and go with that route. It's looking pretty good. I wish you guys could kind of see it more. It would have been nicer to pick like a fatter print, just because this X carriage is pretty large on this machine. I definitely need to do some cable management too before I screw something up with all the cables dangling around. I use Sunlu Flex on Enter 2. Print comes out okay. Sunlu Flex. What's going on, individual? Happy Saturday, man. Saturday night here. Let's see if I can find Sunlu Flex. Amazon. Wow, $23? So it's flexible filament, but it's a PLA, so it's like soft PLA. I am going to order a spool of that just to test it out. That's so cheap, dude. Yeah, the one I've used and the one I have is the it's the Sane Smart TPU. It's worked out. Oh wow. Oh, it's only, is it half a kilogram? Oh no, 250 grams. Okay, I was like, that's so cheap. Yeah, so this is the one I have been using. I bought a spool like a year ago and have yet to run out of it. It's worked really well though. I'll post it for anyone that wants to take a look. Definitely recommend it. The only thing is, so it's TPU, so it's not super flexible. I mean, it's flexible, but but when you compare it to something like Ninja Flex, it's obviously not. But it's been relatively easy to print. I just printed it with my same PLA settings. The only thing I changed up was the print speed. I obviously printed at a much slower speed, and I've only done it on my direct drive machine. I don't know whether it would be impossible to do on a Bowden setup. I've never tried printing flexibles on a Bowden setup. Nice to see it working. Good job, bro. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, I woke up today just determined. I got up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and assembled the main frame, and was like, I'll just keep working a little bit. And then once I had put another hour or two into it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this thing as quick as possible. Yeah, I gotta fix that bed wobble. That's like definitely mission number one aside from cable management. You can also like hear it kind of scraping, which is interesting to me. Unless it's just a sound that the printer makes, but it sounds like the nozzle is kind of hitting the previous layer. It's really hard to see. We'll let it print and just kind of see what goes on. Let's take a look at some of those upgrades while we're chilling here, and then we'll check back on the print. So this is the Tronxy X5. Wobble reduce. Okay, so this is like a... Oh, so they added smooth rods. It's interesting. So this one attaches, I see that. But what is this one doing? It's just an extra smooth rod not doing nothing? It's not a very good photo. Or maybe you're supposed to do the same thing to both sides? I don't know. Let's see what comments say. This is really a design. I was thinking about using the front rod. That will make one. To eliminate the X movement is I tested it. If it's perfect, but still there's Z movement, which will eliminate the additional Z motor. Huh. Let me pull you guys up on the right side so I can see. Hey, what's up, Chris? Yeah, I was gonna stream earlier at 2. That's what I had said last night, but I got up and started working on this because I didn't get very much done on stream yesterday, and ended up knocking out the whole thing, pretty much. And then I forgot today was a birthday party for my buddy's wife where I live here. It's her sister's 30th, so there was a bunch of people over. So I was kind of out saying hi, and then since I got it up and running and printed out this little calibration cube thing, I was like, I'll hit stream and just show everyone kind of an update on what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna make a video on the my experience with this printer, at least like with the build experience so far. There's definitely some wobble, which I knew there was going to be. So that's going to be like the first thing I try to address with upgrades. Maybe I will end up adding another stepper motor and picking up a lead screw. I have tons of extra stepper motors. I would probably just have to order a lead screw that would fit. But I'm gonna kind of do some homework and see what people are recommending. Oh yeah, I don't even have it on. Sorry. I'm gonna see what people are recommending because I was looking at Thingiverse right now, and there's a ton of different upgrades that people have done to kind of help out with that wobble. But I want to see what's the most effective, like what people would recommend. So I'll do some digging before I kind of decide on what I want to do. But the main upgrades I plan on doing is the Z-Wobble, fixing that, adding build tech, probably adding an auto bed level sensor. Gotta add LEDs because I love LEDs and it'll look really cool in this cube. And then cable management and Octoprint, that's probably gonna be it. I was kind of playing around with the idea of making it enclosed, like adding side panels to it. And somebody also recommended that in chat a little bit ago. But I don't know if that's something I'm gonna do because I don't actually use ABS hardly ever. So I don't know whether I want to go through the headache of doing that. Ender 2 is running a Bowden, managed to get it to print TPU. Well, nice, dude. Ender 2 is the one I just looked at yesterday, right? It's the Creality. Ender 2, yeah, okay, so it is. It's a pretty cool printer, man, for $160, $70, whatever it ends up going for. Dimensions are 150 by 150 by 200, so it doesn't even have bad dimensions. Yeah, it's a cool looking machine, dude. Just real small form factor. Is the power supply in that box on the printer, or is it an external power supply like a brick? Did I just miss a donation? I think I missed a donation. Let me. It looked like it said Dimple. Hold on, Dimple. This is why I like to wear headphones when I stream normally. But then I just feel silly sometimes wearing headphones when there's no audio really coming through. Dimple did. Well, let me replay this, Dimple. Thank you, Dimple, for the $5 donation. He said, "Here's for waking up to fix the Tronxy." Haha. Thank you very much, good sir. I will put your $5 in my fund towards the Ninja Flex. Oh, Kiro Cat, your donation just showed up too. Thank you very much, also, man, for the $3 donation. Ninja Flex is now sponsored officially by Cat Mod Shop and Dimple. I'll print something with my Ninja Flex when I get it for you guys. Hey, what's up, Ashley? Yeah, I woke up this morning, kicked some serious butt. I was determined just because I knew that today was my only day. Tomorrow I've got a girlfriend and girlfriend's family stuff going on, and then it's back to the work week. So I was kind of telling myself, I'm like, it's either going to be a bunch of parts on your desk all week long and an unfinished printer, or you can knock this out. And so I did what I could, and yeah, I got it all up and running. So there's still a lot that needs to be done to get this thing purring along, but at least everything works. I was really happy when I plugged everything in and heated up the bed, heated up the extruder, checked the fans, checked the end stops. One end stop did not work, so I replaced that, which wasn't a big deal. They sent me they didn't send me a replacement, but the kit came with a replacement. Like, they knew that one of theirs was probably going to be defective, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I can still see that pretty heavy kind of rippleness in the print. Because the thing is, the bed vibrates both up, down, and left, right. Which we just can't have that. We have to figure it out. But I'm not too worried. At least, again, like the gruntness of it, like the hard stuff's essentially done, which was trying to follow their PDF, which was terrible. I'm gonna like look for a job in tutorial making, just because I just, so many of these kit printers, like, what makes them terrible is the build instructions, and when they do revisions to them, which they seem to do revisions to the kits often, they don't update them, so you're like, this isn't even a thing anymore. I don't know if it popped up on stream yet, but Cat just sent another dollar donation where he corrected, said Ninja Flex sponsored by Mod Shop, Cat, and Dimple Poji. I'll try to prick some. I'll try to I'll try to pick some Ninja Flex up as soon as I get this machine dialed in. So once I do the cable management and get that Z wobble, then I will pick up the Ninja Flex and I'll actually do a stream. I'll do a stream, and I will try to make an event so that way you guys can know a couple days in advance if you guys want to tune in, and we can all see how the Ninja Flex works out. We'll just find something to print and kind of experiment with it for a little bit. Ashley, how long did it take for you to get it all together? That is a great question. I didn't exactly look at the clock too much, but I think I started somewhere around 9ish, and I think I was done with it around 2ish. So probably like 5 hours today. I would say in total it was like a 6-hour build. Again, I put in 2 hours last night, but since I was streaming and not really building most of the time, I don't want to say that that was 2 hours truly yesterday. It was probably about half an hour to an hour's worth of work. But yeah, not too bad. The build, I was explaining earlier, the build was actually not very hard. It was the instructions that were very hard. It was just difficult to know. It was just difficult to know like what the hell I was supposed to do because of how lacking the instructions were in terms of dimensions, and the pictures are computer generated again, which just makes it hard to see what's going on. Sure, this timing and day is good for streaming for where I am. This is late for me, man. I mean, it's not. It's only 9 o'clock, so it's not. But like normally during the week I go to bed by now because I have to get up super early for my commute to work. So typically I'll probably be streaming earlier on, but I can try to do something kind of in the middle of when I've normally been streaming, which is like 2 or 3 or 4, and now, so maybe I can do like a 6 to 8 stream or something like that. You guys are awesome though. Thanks for coming both, yesterday and today and just hanging out. It's been really cool with like getting into a schedule this year and work that I've been able to kind of consistently stream one time a week. It's been a lot of fun. That's kind of my goal now, is to stream once a week, at least once a week, on like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, depending on what's going on, and then do one video a week, which I think is a good amount to have like kind of a work balance too, and also just have a little bit of downtime. I don't think it's too much, but it's also enough to where I'm still happy with me producing videos, because I've got like it's funny, so kind of insight on how I do things normally is with YouTube. I had for the longest time like a Google Doc where I put all my video ideas down, like just maybe one day I'd brainstorm for a while, or just randomly doing something throughout a day, idea comes to me, put it on my list. Well, I did that for a really long time, and then I ran out of ideas and started pulling things out of the air, which was fine. But I started doing my list again, and I've got a ton of things on my list. So the issue is definitely not, I don't have any ideas or content to make. It's like, which one do I want to do? Which one's a priority? And do I have time to do it? So I'm going to do a video comparing the JG Aurora, because it's my loudest 3D printer. I'm going to add some better stepper drivers to it and see how much of a difference that makes in quietness. So I'm kind of curious. I think that'll be fun because I've never dealt with silent stepper drivers yet. I've heard of them and seen them. I know that like the Mark III has them, so that'll be fun. And then it's a couple of you guys, maybe not people that are in the stream right now, but last time I was streaming we were talking about the AM8, which is like a aluminum extrusion for the ANET, so that's something I totally want to work towards. And then the Arcade V2, there's just a lot of different stuff. which is fun. It's definitely a lot more fun having like a bunch of ideas and things to be excited for than trying to figure out what I want to make a video on. Oh, wobbly X5, why? I think they fixed the wobble on the X5S. If I take a quick look at it here. Let's see. X5S. Huh. Apparently X5S is a camera. 3D printer. So this is the X5S. Looks like they added a cooling fan to the board, which is nice. They added the second extruder, so that'll fix the wobbling. Instead of just having one driver with the two smooth rods, they have the motor with smooth rods and also motor with smooth rods to compensate for that wobbliness. And also the bed is bigger on this one. What's the size? Yeah, a lot bigger. 330 by 330 by 400. Well, I think this one's like 210 by 210 by 280. So you're getting a third bigger build volume. It also uses Core XY. I don't know if there shows a picture of it. You can kind of see it on the top. You can see it on the top, sort of, the way the what are they called? Pulleys are laid out. This is nice too. The cable management for the top. It's a really good looking printer. But yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, it's like the big brother to this X5. Pull up chat. Compared to the Aurora A5, the Tronxy sounds quiet except for the one high-pitched thing going on. Yeah, the Tronxy, I don't know, were you here a second ago when I was talking about the noise on this thing? I was about to say that this is like my quietest 3D printer. It's crazy to me coming from the JG Aurora to this. And yeah, there is a high-pitched noise. The loudest thing's the fan, and then the other sound I think is the stepper motors. But yeah, it's really, really quiet in comparison to the JG Aurora. JG Aurora, because of the way the metal is, and maybe the build area below, how it's all enclosed, it just has a lot of echoing sound bouncing off of it. So yeah, it's gonna be really easy to sleep with this thing printing. And yeah, it looks like the Hypercube, which is also a machine that I've wanted to build for a very long time. There's a guy at my work that he has been he's been working on the Hypercube, and he says he's almost done with it. It's glorious. Hypercube Evolution, was that a new one? Well, apparently my internet doesn't want to load. Okay, yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was just talking about that as one of the things I like about this machine is that it's super quiet. This thing's awesome looking. I want one of these so bad. Notice, nice one, extra space key, just starting so far. Very happy with the quality of print compared to mobile printers, which print quite well. All parts were printed in the G-Tech. Let's see what the bill of materials looks like on this thing. The Hypercube is just so clean, you can barely even see anything. I know, it's such a beautiful design. I've been interested in building one of these for a couple of years now, like since I first saw it. Facebook group, changelog, bill of materials. Oh, he has the whole thing here. Extrusions, L brackets, corner brackets, fasteners, motors. New 1742. Heated bed. 4-6 leveling screws. A lot of this stuff I feel like I can harvest from machines I have, like the motors at least. It uses optical end stops too. That's awesome. Hey, what's going on, Dave? I'm doing good, man. Let me show you where we're at. It's the thing I was building last night, dude. I actually got it done today. Not on stream, sadly. I was debating on streaming earlier when I was doing it, but I was like so in the zone and making so much progress that I was like, I'm just gonna hammer it out as much as I can. But once I got it done, this is like the first thing printing other than this little cube guy earlier, just to see if I was sticking. And the first layer, oops, so you guys see that the bed adhesion was really nice. It stuck extremely well. I hear crying boy. You might end up spending the same amount as a decent kit building your hypercube. Yeah, I think I did the like I think at one point I got as far as putting stuff in a shopping cart and saw the price, and you definitely are spending a good amount. A lot of people were recommending, I remember once when I was looking at it, to purchase like the ANET A8 and then just not building it and taking all the electronics and stuff from it, that you can actually get a lot of stuff for the hypercube and save a lot of money by going that route. Crying babies. I like the fact that you have to purchase individually because you could get spares easily for a printer. I like the fact you have to print. I think I understand what you're saying, Kyra. I think you're saying that you like that it's individual, since you could potentially have a lot of the parts for the printer already. Instead of having like a kit, you could just pick up what you need. This site might help you fabricate funky diver print a kid size muzzle. I've gotten so used to the sound of kids or babies crying since living here, man. It's like I just kind of zone it out. My girlfriend, on the other hand, every time she comes over, she like can't deal. Cool. I added your link, dude, the funky driver, so I'll take a look at that a little bit later on. What's the printing speed on this unit? Currently for this print is printing at print speed 50 millimeters a second, outer perimeter 45, infill 80 millimeters per second. I don't know what it's actually rated to be able to do. I can tell you what GearBest says, but I don't know, again, obviously, whether that's going to be accurate or not until I try it out for myself. X5. Oh, 266? I think it's cheaper in US. Yeah, 240. I don't understand why a plug costs $20 difference, but speed. It says 40 to 120 millimeters a second, but again, I don't know how accurate or not accurate that is until I test it out myself. Some kits you might not be able to find spares, or it'll be hard. Oh, got you. Yeah. Definitely. The cool thing about the hypercube is that all the stuff is like open build stuff. So like the 2020 extrusions and stuff like that, that's not going anywhere. Lead screws aren't going anywhere. All the parts are relatively, like, I don't know that I'll say easy to find, but they're not like proprietary, which is really nice. Because yeah, if you buy a certain machine, who's to say that in a few years you'll be able to find a part for it or whatever. Although it is really nice with 3D printers, because most of the parts that are printed in plastic, at least for me, if they were to break, I could always just 3D model it and print it on one of my other printers and replace it. But I understand that like not everybody can do that, especially for people that just have one 3D printer. Ooh, the finger. Let me take a look at this real quick. wish you guys could see this. Let me like let's take you down real quick. Hold on. Well, actually, I don't know if I can, man. The way it's hooked up. You guys will just have to take my word for it. It's looking pretty good. A5 auto level other upgrades. Maybe, Roger. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure what my plans are for the JG Aurora. There will be, well, no, okay, that's not totally true. So there definitely will be other videos on it. I'm going to add silent stepper motor drivers to it and see how that compares audio-wise. I'm also going to add LEDs to it. I'm kind of going to make it look like a party printer. I think I'm going to add, I've got purple LEDs that I had from back with like video game console mods. So I'm going to add purple LEDs to the inside so that way the side panels will glow purple. And then I'm going to add like just regular white LEDs to light up the build plate. But auto bed leveling is something I may consider doing for the machine. I'm not sure yet. I'm probably going to pick up a BL Touch because I've never used one. And that might be something I'll install on the JG Aurora. I did look the other day though and saw that it doesn't look like anybody's uploaded a file to Thingiverse, so I'd have to model it myself, and I've never used a BL Touch, so I'm not totally sure. But yeah, there will be more videos on the A5, and auto bed leveling I'm not sure about. I still need to add the fan shroud I printed out for it. I want to do a print of a model before the fan shroud, then put the new fan shroud on and do the same print and see whether it actually made a difference or not. So yeah, there'll be some more content coming on that. Did you have to mod or add fans on the extruder for better print quality? Are you talking about on the JG Aurora, Cairo? If so, then no, I have not done anything like that yet. I've been relatively happy with the JG Aurora's print quality. However, I've been having serious issues with like the nastiest stringing I've ever seen. Which again, I'm thinking is probably just a retraction setting. I've just never had to deal with that level of stringing. Normally, if it's just a little stringing, I kind of just deal with it and it doesn't bug me. But it's been bad. Like, I was trying to print out some stuff for one of my coworkers' birthday, some like Rick and Morty memorabilia and stuff like that, and the stringing was insane. So I gotta figure out something. Well, not spaghetti. Like, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find like a picture that actually looks how my stringing looks. Yeah, it was freaking gnarly. It was really like, yeah, let me show, okay. So this is a really small photo, but just, I clicked on it because it looked closest to what I was talking about. It had a lot of like, almost like spider web stringing to it. So not quite, it had a little bit of stuff like that, but not quite. It was more like that, like spider web string or like that. And it was to the point where it was a nightmare to remove. But yeah, just gnarly stringing going on. So I'm gonna have to tweak the settings of that and figure it out. I watched a couple videos on it because again, I've never really. I think it's back. My OBS does that from time to time. I don't know if it's on my end or if it's on my my internet's end, but it's a pretty common occurrence. Let me know if you guys can see me again. It should be back up. Probably just me too lag. All good now. Yeah, I don't know. I just get a little pop up in the bottom left of my thing that says OBS says disconnected, reconnecting, and then I see your guys' chat. So I never freak out too hard. When it first happened, I was like, oh my god, but now I'm like, just part of the I don't know, the way it is. Let's see how much longer his print's got left. Looks like it's got 14 minutes left. I'm hoping it turns out good. It's probably gonna droop a little bit, I would imagine. unless the cooling is just that good. But I think that this will be fine. This will be fine. But once it gets here, I think that this is going to have some stringing, or whatever you want to call it, sag. But maybe not. It depends. Again, it does have a layer cooling fan, which is nice, but I just don't know how effective it is. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Hey, actually, I know you said that you didn't have a 3D printer, but you know, were looking into getting one, and you were trying to decide between a kit and a pre-assembled one. Do you know, like, in your head, what kind of stuff you want to print out? Like, is it like just kind of random knickknacks and doodads, or is there something specific that made you kind of decide you really wanted to get a 3D printer or look into them? Most of what I print is definitely knickknacks and doodads, but I also do a fair amount of like functional 3D printing as well. Most of the audio sound is the filament being pulled. Since I don't have it on a spool, it's like kind of getting yanked. And the fan, that little whining sound from the fan. Yeah, I was just, since you had mentioned it and I have a minute here, I was kind of like gonna see what your plan was. 3D printers are for printing 3D printer parts. I will say that at least 30% or 40% of my 3D prints are upgrades for my 3D printers. It's just so fun. It's such a fun concept, you know? Upgrading your machine with your machine. Even my buddy that I live with here, my best friend, he even told me when I showed him like my kits when I'm done with them and all the upgrades. I'm like, look, yeah, I printed all this stuff for it, and he's like, dude, you upgraded your printer with your printer? I'm like, yeah, man, like it's really cool. I would like to print things that will have a function. I would like to make solar panels. Cool, right on. Do you have any experience with 3D modeling at all, or have you looked into 3D modeling? It was pretty cool because earlier today, I mentioned earlier that it was my buddy's wife's sister's 30th, and one of their family members came over with her boyfriend, and he does 3D modeling and just got a job working with aerospace. So he like walked by my room when my door was open and saw the 3D printer and like walked in and was like, dude, a 3D printer? Because I guess that is oh, he's tired, that's why he's crying. It's 9 o'clock. And I'm gonna go to bed at 7:30, so that's why he's cranky. But he came in here and was like talking to me and said that at his work they had like a oh, what's the machine called? G-Max. They had a G-Max and then a, what was the other one? I can't remember the other one, but and he like showed me his keychain. He had some 3D printed stuff on it, and I was like, cool, dude. Started talking to that for a while. Maybe some drones or drone parts. Okay. Right on. So you'll probably want, well, you'll definitely want a machine, I would say, with a hot bed. Even though that's pretty standard, so that's not really a big deal. In the future, we will have robots upgrading themselves so that practices passed down from their ancestor 3D printer kits. No shit, man. I watched a video of this company that makes robotic arms, not like for people, but actual like in manufacturing robotic arms for manufacturing, and it was really cool. And they were using 3D printing to prototype upgraded parts for the robot arms, and they would eventually outsource them to get that finished, you know, build in that metal or whatever material they use. But it was really cool to see the 3D printed parts upgrading robots. I think you'll be fine, Ashley. Especially, I mean, I know you were mentioning yesterday that you're doing your CompTIA stuff, so you're obviously like computer, competent. And I'm not very good with like artsy 3D modeling, but as far as functional 3D modeling, it's not that difficult. Once you learn the basic workflow and kind of what tools you have available, I highly recommend looking into 360 Fusion, just because it's a really powerful software, and if you're a hobbyist, it's free, and it'll be able to do anything, really. Drone parts, solar panel stuff, everything. Oh, cool. I love tech, learning of any kind, and I'm an artist as well. Well, then you should be great. Hey, Tony 3D Printer, thank you for subscribing, man. Welcome to the channel. Could we get some hi Tonys in the chat, pretty please? I've never asked for chat love. If you are new, you may want to pre-assemble printer, beginning kit while. Yeah, that's where I'm like torn with trying to. I'm trying to recommend something, Cairo. Is that like, the kits? Yeah, they're a bitch. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, they're a pain in the ass. Especially to somebody that's new. I enjoy them though because I like building, and I like when you build a kit, if something goes wrong, you're gonna know how to fix it because of the fact that you built it, and so you know like which parts go where, if something's malfunctioning, and it just gives you such a insight on how the hardware all works together to function. While if you get it pre-assembled and something goes wrong, yeah, you might have a warranty and you can send it out and stuff like that, but you miss a whole, I think, level of appreciation for the machine. But then again, there is such a learning, like there's quite a lot to learn outside of assembling a 3D printer in terms of slicing softwares and all that stuff. So I can understand how for some it's definitely more appealing to just get something ready to rock, so that way they don't have to worry about learning. Like the barrier of entry is a lot smaller when it's already ready to print, and you've just got to learn how to use the software versus you got to learn how to print it. I mean build it, calibrate it, print it. There's a lot more stuff, but I do think that the information that you gain from building a 3D printer at least once is invaluable. Like it's completely like priceless. It's fantastic. I'm very happy that I went from my first printer, which was a pre-built printer, which I ended up doing a lot of heavy modifying to because it was garbage. But yeah, I'm happy that I got my kit for my second printer. Hey Tony. Thank you guys for the Tony love. I plan on making case base to store my astrophotography telescope parts to protect the edges of my plug foam. I'm not sure if PLA will work or if I should do it with flex. Case base. So just they kind of like dividers essentially. Like I'm trying to picture a case, and the lenses go in there, and you want something to like kind of cap it off, so that way so the glass is protected, or is it for like vibration, like damaging the inside? It can also take a learning curve, fine tuning and calibrating them. Yeah, that's true. Because even if you get a pre-assembled one, well, depending on which one you get, but there's still quite a few that you have to calibrate and kind of tweak a little bit. In the movie Life, they show a technology where they printed food and weapons in minutes. My first was Ana 8. I had to watch your build guides because of the horrendous instructions. Oh man, yeah, I'm thankful. It was a pain in the ass to do, try to get video shots of that build. It'll be so much nicer when I've got one day in this life an actual setup where my space is bigger and I've got like a work area, not bedroom combined with a factory. But I'm really happy out of all of my guides that I did that for the Ana A8, because the following behind the Ana A8 is huge, and it seems like those guides really helped out a lot of people based off of the feedback I got. And I like since then I've debated doing it on other things like the TiVo and potentially this one, but I'm like, nah man, I just don't have the time. It's so much it's so time consuming to get all the shots, edit all the individual videos out and stuff like that. And when I did the Ana A8, I wasn't working, so I had a lot more time on my hands. I'm interested in all of it. The build process, hardware, software upgrade. I sort of always take things full on. Nice. That's like me too. I don't usually, when I get into something, it's not like, yeah, I kind of like that. It's like, no, I'm obsessed. Like, I need to know everything there is. Show me it all. I'm the exact same way. I hardly ever do anything like lightheartedly. I usually am like 100% in. Like, teach me your ways. Pelican cases, inserts, since parts are just stuck in plug foam holes. So custom inserts to fix to wear and tear on plug foam. Got you. I feel like PLA would work fine, but flexible might be better. One thing that I've been looking for, which I haven't found yet, is I really want to find a flexible filament that's like a rubber. But when I say like rubber, I don't mean like the elasticity, but the actual grippy feel of rubber. Because the flexibles I have, like, it might be a little bit more. It's definitely a little bit more grippy than. Oh, it's okay. It's definitely more grippy than PLA. But I would love to find a material that's just super grippy. Maybe NinjaFlex will be that way once I print with it. But yeah, I guess TPU is kind of grippy, but not to the extent that I'm trying to that I've wanted in my head. Like, I'm gonna make these feet. When I make the version 2 of my arcade, I'm gonna put add feet, adjustable feet, where you, like, you know, turn them clockwise to screw them in and counterclockwise to loosen them, so that way you can make sure that it's level by screwing the different legs in accordingly. But the material I want to use for the legs to cover the screws or whatever is something grippy, and so I'm probably gonna print it in. I was gonna print it in TPU, but I might do it in NinjaFlex now that we've got a sponsored stream for NinjaFlex. But I don't know, like, I'm hoping that NinjaFlex will kind of have that grippy feel. I'll probably go talk to the guys in the lab at my work and see what they recommend for the grippiest, because again, my knowledge of variations of filaments are pretty limited, just because I haven't dived into it until now. This print's looking pretty solid, man. It's almost done. Oh, you guys can. I'm like telling you guys it's almost done. Like, you guys haven't had it on the screen for the last hour. Yeah, I like to tear things down and put things back together, see how stuff works. It's more interesting than being parked in front of a TV. I agree. Yeah, I agree 110%. I've broken a lot of shit from tearing things apart and not being able to put them back together, but I usually end up buying another one and tearing it down, and hopefully that time I can put it back together. Well, that's how it all started for me. Was I mean, I've always been into building stuff ever since I was a little kid, from like Legos and Connects and stuff like that, and then I got into video game, like, hacking and repairing, which was a lot of building and stuff like that, and then video game hacking took me into 3D printing. Now I'm in love with 3D printing. I'm in love, like, I love 3D printing. The technology, there's a lot of stuff I like about it, man. It's the community of people behind it, it's the technology, and what it's allowed me to do in terms of, if I can think it, I can make it, really, you know? And it's even more of a reality now that we've got this technology at an extremely affordable price for anybody. I mean, if you're an engineer, then maybe $2,500 or $3,000 is affordable, you know? If you're someone like me, then $400 or $500 is in that affordable range. So it's just cool now that there's a machine for everybody. I think NinjaFlex Armadillo or Cheetah filaments are supposed to be like that. We carry both Armadillo and Cheetah at my work, so I will find out this next week then, on Monday, if I remember. I'll find out sometime this week. I did that to my professor's laptop. Oh my god. Jeez. I'm always scared to, like, everyone comes to me, like, in my family and my friends group for, you know, fixing electronics and IT stuff, viruses, but yeah, broken phones, anything. I mean, if anything's not working that uses that's like technology, they come to me. And usually if it's something I'm doing for the first time, like a cell phone, I will tell them, have you given up on this phone? Like, if I can't fix it, you're okay with that? And I usually won't touch it unless they give me the okay, because I'm like, I know myself, and the first time I do something that's brand new, I'm like, it's a 50-50. I might destroy this thing, and I have destroyed a fair share of things. I remember years ago, I was trying to fix a phone, and I tore like a ribbon cable. It was just so small, the stuff. But I've had my fair share of wins too. I did a couple phones for the first time, like swapping out whatever, it was screens, batteries, stuff like that. And I just learned that you got to be super careful with all the tiny little, I mean, they're so delicate, the little ribbon cables and stuff. I just love the idea of making stuff for someone, and like me, who wants to be an engineer. You can literally make prototypes and have it in your hands within a few hours of printing. Agreed. It is awesome. It is insane. Like, I know that 3D printing is not like quick, and people that expect, you know, instant hit print, it's there. It's most of them just are like, don't understand the technology. But even if something takes 2 days to print and make, that's insanely quick. Think about before, if you had designed something, how are you going to get that in 2 days? You're going to have to send it to somewhere, you know, like outsource it to a service, and then that could take weeks or even, you know, like a month of time. So yeah, it's insane. It's so fun. What branch of engineering are you trying to get into? Just a random thought. If you're looking to get another printer for test review, can you consider the Zone Star with dual extruder? Zone Star ZMT. I will put this in a list. I'm probably going to try to get a DLP printer in next, but I will put this in my list of things that I'll try to get in at some point. Dimple. But yeah, the one I'm really trying to get in is this guy. I don't think Gearbest will send it to me. I'm kind of hoping that I can work out some kind of a thing where they'll take off some of the cost on it, and then I'll pay the difference or whatever, which is fine. But I really want to check out this technology. I don't know if I showed this on stream yesterday, but yeah, this is what I want. They sell out of pre-orders. Holy shit, they did. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to get my hands on one because they sold out of pre-orders, but I'm really interested in getting a DLP or SLA printer. I won't have nearly as much use for it in terms of like my day-to-day, but I just am fascinated by the technology and want one for cool factor and for just to see what it's capable of, and to expand my knowledge for people, because again, they're becoming more and more affordable, so I would like to be able to help people out. Yeah, it's a SLA, so it's an SLA printer, but it's DLP, so instead of using lasers, it uses a projector. So it's not quite as good as a SLA that uses lasers, but it's still really, really good, and like leaps and bounds over the quality of a oh, the print finished. Leaps and bounds over the FDM style printers. My sister tried fixing her iPhone 4 screen years ago with no experience and lost the screws. No, I learned that the hard way too. I usually use an ice tray for all of the different parts to separate them. You should try a monthly filament mystery box. You can try filaments. You may discover otherwise. That's not a bad idea. The only thing is though, now with my new job, we carry like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of filaments, so I'm just gonna start like bi-monthly grabbing a couple spools of different materials. But that would have been useful to do beforehand, was to because I know they have like that monthly maker box thing that I think gives you a bunch of different little sample spools. I would like to get my dad involved with 3D printing and the design. He's a CAD guy. I think he would enjoy. Oh, that would be so fun. I'm sure he would love it. Has he seen the technology? Like, I'm sure you've showed him videos and stuff like that, but has he seen it in front of him in real life? I want to get into mechanical and maybe around the robotics area. Badass, dude. Yeah, I was going for computer engineering, but I got my associates and then I took a break. Hopefully not indefinitely, but I'm working in the space I want to get into now, and I'm hoping that maybe once I move closer to work and stuff like that, 6 months to a year down the line or so, maybe I can start taking classes online again to work towards it. But I'm still really far out from my bachelor's. I feel like photon technology is still in its infant stage. Yeah, I agree, Dimple. I know, I mean, the thing is, it's come a long ways, though. Like, this technology was, you know, 20, 30, 40, $50,000, and now the fact that it's $500, although I'm not saying that in a year or two, you know, we won't be getting much better stuff, it's still at that price. I'm like, it's so tempting to grab. But yeah, this is the one I was looking at, and then I was also looking at the duplicator 7. This one I've heard good and bad about, but I've heard that this version 1.5, which is the latest version that they released, is fixed a lot of the issues that it originally had. But if you go to, like, I mean, just look at this. Like, I was looking at duplicator 7 Reddit. Is there Reddit for it? I mean, look at this little chess piece here. It's insane. Look how tiny it is. There's no layer lines at all. And then, like, the other ones, the Moai prints. I saw this one on Reddit the other day. This one's freaking awesome. He printed it. This is big. But the way he did it was he printed it in individual pieces. I think it's like one, like the arms were separate, the feet were separate, the chest piece. But that's a really big print for an SLA printer. Because like you said, most of it's miniature stuff. Although you can do like 120, I think, tall. But it's insane. Like all the different muscles and stuff like that. It's just craziness. But yeah, it's a lot more expensive too. The resin bottles are like 60-ish dollars a bottle. Let's look at this finger, yeah? Shall we? Let's hold on. Let me go on the left screen and then pull back. Dun, 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 dun. Oh shit. Yeah, it's definitely got the ripples, like, and I have to assume it's the bed, but it's really, like, aside from the bed thing, it's not bad looking, man. Let me see if, like, will it autofocus maybe? I don't know. If I showed you guys this with like a high res camera, you can see all the imperfections I'm talking about. But again, this is literally just assembled and printed. I've done nothing to it so far. And again, it's a $230 printer. The first layer is super smooth and sleek and perfect. I just gotta figure out that wobble with the bed, which I think will get rid of all the ripples. But this is definitely a usable finger hook for sure. I've only showed him. Yeah, there's no. I'm actually very impressed with. I thought the tip of it was going to have some serious drooping going on, but it's nothing, like nothing. It's pretty solid. Yeah, it's a hook. I made it for my girlfriend because I made her one a few years ago, and so she wanted 3 of them. So I was like, I'll just print one out. I'm gonna print her out probably 2 more tonight. Yeah, yeah, you saw that. Yeah, totally is a hook. You just put some double-sided adhesive on the back, or I guess there's inserts so you can literally mount it, but I think we just did double-sided adhesive. Evolution of videos. He's sort of skeptical. He's a mechanical engineer and designer at paper mills. Huh. I guarantee you, when you show him, when you end up getting one and show him some of the stuff you're doing, he'll be a lot less skeptical. My parents are like mind blown away every time I show them something. They're like, "That thing is so cool!" Like, it's super fun. 3D printing is really fun for gifts too. I have a blast giving gifts to family members and stuff like that. But, well, I think I'm gonna kill the stream, guys. I did like an hour and a half, I think, maybe longer. Did I do an hour and a half? Yeah, I did like an hour and a half. Because I'm going to the I'm going to like a racetrack tomorrow with my girlfriend, and so I'm gonna kind of clean myself and up my room a little bit, and then just get going. Because tomorrow after that, once I get back from that, it'll be nighttime and then back to work. So. Hey, Mod Shop's still here, dude. Thanks, man. Thank you. We will we'll get that sponsored video from you guys on that Ninja Flex here going in the next couple weeks or so. Yeah, I can't believe it was an hour and a half, dude. I feel like I just hit print on this finger, but it was fun. It's been really fun, like having you guys hanging out and just talking about 3D printers and seeing all this stuff. But thanks for the build and stream. Have a great weekend, everyone. All right. Have a great night, Ashley. Have a great weekend. Cairo, Mod, Dimple, thank you guys again. To the three of you for donations. Super awesome, you guys. We've got Roger, if you're still hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. And whoever else is here, man. Thank you guys for hanging out and stopping by. And if nothing changes, we should be streaming this next weekend again. So be looking for that. And then also, my goal is to have a video midweek, and that will show the unboxing of all the parts that came in here, along with I'll get into a little more detail on the experience I had with building this thing. So if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, thank you guys again, and have a fantastic night. Peace, guys.